This episode of Casual Compliance is brought to you by Double Strike. If at first you don't succeed, try again. This episode of Casual Compliance is brought to you by Double Strike. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
There it is.
Hi, I'm Gramps.
Hi, I'm Chili Ben, and I was fully expecting that joke.
Yeah. I do actually like this version of the cold open better. It's way nicer.
Yeah.
I'm Gramps, that's Chili Bin. We are from Casual Compliance, where we talk to you, the listener, viewer, Spotify, YouTube, about the culture of Commander, the #1 premier format of Magic the Gathering, using the ban list as a way to emphasize that despite the game being casual and unrestricted in a casual environment, having a guideline to help ensure everyone's fun. What we're going to do is we're going to get a fun little wheel and spin it with all of the cards that we haven't reviewed yet from the ban list. Go to our playlist, check out the other 14-ish that are there now. And we will talk about the card. We'll give our initial impressions on why we think it is banned, it isn't banned, and how good we think the card is. Then we go away, do a little bit of research where Chili Ben actually looks at proper things and I look at Reddit. And we come back and we discuss why the card should remain banned, because generally I'm wrong.
We all have our own methods.
We all have our own methods, and Reddit is seems to be the place where I don't get any good answers.
Can you call that peer review? There's a lot of people in there giving their opinion.
And it's all their peers reviewing the thought of, can you unban Emrakul?
They're not my peers.
I wish they weren't mine. Hey, our peers are the people we choose.
Yeah.
That's just not how that works in empirically evidenced research. Let's get to the list, I guess. Let's check the scoreboard. I'm losing. Remember when I used to do scoreboard jokes?
I stopped tracking that a long time ago.
Yeah, good. Same.
Because let me just do the math. I'm saying this now while recording, and in editing, I will correct myself if I'm wrong. I think this is episode 14 of these.
Yeah.
I think we have said 2.
1.5.
No, I think it was like 2 and maybe a half of an extra one.
And Emrakul was close. So 2.75.
No.
Shit. No.
Not when it comes to Emrakul.
All right. Before we get to the wheel...
give that bitch an inch, she'll take a mile.
But then on a jump up with Emrakul, you give that bitch an inch, you take a mile. Fucking hell. That's the most bogan thing I've ever heard anyone say, and you're not Australian. Fuck.
All right. You want to spin a wheel? What are we doing?
Follow us on Blue Sky. Fuck Twitter. We're not there anymore. Blue Sky, Patreon, TikTok, YouTube, Casual Compliance, casualcompliance@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. We're on Spoofy, Casual Compliance as well. You can listen to us there.
Spotify.
Yep.
For people that don't know Gramps in real life.
And don't listen to Game Grumps.
Is that where that's from?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Dan Avidan's
catch me not having actually watched that much Grumps.
Dan Avidan's dad is like, Dan, I listened to you on the Spoofy. And it's really funny.
Okay.
That is the exact same voice. You should watch that episode of Game Grumps. I've done really well there.
Cool.
I practice it a lot. Spinning the wheel. I have recorded this time.
Good.
Except it did the countdown while the wheel was spinning, but I still caught the wheel spin. What?
What have we got?
It almost was another card, because it happens every time where it slowly does it. And it's never been definitive. It's Braids, the Cabal Minion. I have several of these. And by that I mean I have a full playset of them.
It's blue, right?
Black.
Black?
Yeah.
I think it's blue. I'm thinking of one of the other Braids cards that is blue, right?
No, I think all the Braids have been black. Arisen Nightmare is also black and it's also legal. So let's talk about Braids. Not Arisen Nightmare, Cabal Minion.
Yeah.
Braids Cabal Minion is when the internet decides to work, 2 and black, so 4 cost.
Okay.
Rare legendary creature, human minion from most recent printing was Modern Horizons 2. And it says at the beginning of each player's upkeep. At the beginning of each player's uppies.
Yep.
That player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. And it's a 2/2. Home is where you can find a decent graveyard, and strangers can disappear without awkward questions.
That's it?
That's it.
Artifact, creature, or land.
Yep. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, they sacrifice an artifact, creature, or land. Braids Cabal Minion. Really cool art. I actually really like it.
I just saw it. Yeah, I've seen that card before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've got a whole bunch of them, and fucking nails are rad. So thoughts, feelings, opinions. This is a very open and shut one for me. I think this can definitely be unbanned.
Yeah,
This is I don't actually understand why this is still on the list.
Artifact, creature, or land.
Or is the key one there, right? And each player's upkeep.
Yeah.
So every uppies.
Wait, read it again.
Yep. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player.
Oh, that player.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the way you were saying it, you meant at each upkeep everyone.
No,
has
but
it.
every uppie is you, and you, and then you, and then me.
So
including me.
Basically, start of my turn, before I've drawn, I've got to take a permanent off the battlefield.
Yep.
Well, artifact, creature, or land, but you get my drift.
Yep. Enchantments remain.
Yes.
Oh, we're struggling.
It doesn't sound that bad.
It's not that bad. Braids of Risen Nightmare is as bad or worse.
Well, here's the thing. You've seen my Saravok Deathbringer deck, which is Saravok Deathbringer plus the background Cultist of the Absolute. Saravok basically forces you to lose life unless a permanent left the battlefield that turn.
Yep.
So, and Cultist of the Absolute just makes Saravok like bigger and harder to remove. It's not forcing people to sacrifice things, but it is encouraging people to have things leave the battlefield. So it's like, maybe you go to combat, maybe you're playing a deck that lets you sacrifice, maybe you're doing treasures and shit will just be leaving the battlefield. That, it feels like a roundabout way to do something like this, of like, I want people's stuff to leave the battlefield. But it is a symmetrical effect. It happens to every player.
It's group hug.
Yeah.
It's group cuddle.
Well, no, it's like group shaving. Or no, group
farming.
No, everybody's going to the gym together. That's what it is. You're all losing a little bit of weight every turn.
Group trimming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Group shred.
So, do you think at the first basis, just looking at it is and knowing what everything else is in Magic, can it be banned? Can it be unbanned?
I feel like to think about why it might be banned, it feels like one of those ones of it's repeatable resource denial, and that's just like not a very nice thing.
Well, so I guess for context, this is one I actually do have a background with, this and Golos, because banlist wasn't really in my wheelhouse for a long time. I built a full Golos deck.
Yeah.
But for Braids, I actually had Braids. I bought my Aloro deck from some very nice person who was clearing out their Magic collection. The first thing I did was add Braids to it. And then I put it on Moxfield, and Moxfield was like,
"The shit's banned, homie.
Yeah, you can't do that." Yeah. I thought I could play this. And the watermark from the Modern Horizons looks like a Mirari or a conspiracy symbol, maybe. So maybe that's where it's from.
Yeah.
But
yeah. This, like, I'm hoping I find something juicy about this because it doesn't seem that bad.
Why do you think it's banned at the moment?
Why do I think it's banned?
Yeah.
I think it's just that shit vibe of like consistent resource denial. Like it's and I think I've told this story on the show before. Like the reason I didn't build Rankle Master of Pranks is because mass discard is shit.
Yeah.
For everyone involved.
A lot of that in standard.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Like but the thing is, like, in standard, in a competitive format, that's where that shit lives and breathes.
Yes.
Doing it in Commander
not fun.
Is bad.
Yeah.
Because you're like just draining everybody's ability to play a game in a casual, fun way. Draining everybody?
It feels targeted.
Yeah. 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 So, but like that said, upkeep, sacrifice an artifact, creature, or land, it's not much. But it feels like one of those things like, okay, I'm not playing that many artifacts, therefore I'm getting rid of creature or land. Oh, all my creatures are already gone? Guess I'm getting rid of lands.
Yeah, but one.
Yeah, but what if somebody has played a board wipe and nobody's got anything but lands?
Yeah, but if the board wipe has been played, it's going to hit Braids as well. Anyway, research.
How much does Braid cost? 4?
Yeah.
Board wipe, then play.
Oh, 6 cost if she's going back to the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to research. Because, we've got some things cooking, but I think I've won this one pretty easy.
Well, no. Don't say that.
She's a slam dunk.
You don't know what happens when I go to research.
I do. Usually you beat the fuck out of me.
Right.
Let's go.
So editing this episode had me thinking a lot about symmetrical versus asymmetrical effects, particularly cards that say things like each opponent versus each player. They can make a big difference to how your deck feels at a table in a game with 3 other people. If you're playing a lot of cards that do things only to your opponents versus including yourself in those effects, that can make yourself seem like less of a threat and maybe you get to play a little longer. So let's have a look in Scryfall to see how we might find different options to suit both playstyles. So it's a pretty straightforward search to start. We'll put in F:C, which is a really helpful shorthand for the classic like format commander search that we often use here. Then we're just going to look in the Oracle text for each opponent. Look for that phrase. Often cards will say things like for each opponent or each opponent does something. So 762 cards in total will target all of your opponents or let you do something for each opponent that you have. And if we sort that by EDH rec rank, just to get an idea of the more popular cards that fit this archetype, classic things like Zulaport Cutthroat, dealing damage to your opponents when any creature dies on your board. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, a classic. Each opponent loses X life when it enters, where X is your devotion to black, and you gain life equal to the total amount of life lost that way. Just an absolute all-star. And then foreshadowing a later part of this video, we see Braids, a Risen Nightmare. More on that later. Now, if we were to substitute that search for each player, meaning that you're also included in the effects, we've got less cards, 692, but if we sort that by EDH rec rank, we get some slightly different options here. We've got Sir Conrad appears in both lists, but we've also got things like Windfall. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards any player discarded this way. And then things like Howling Mine, which will just sit on the battlefield, and at the beginning of each player's draw step, if it's untapped, they draw an extra card. So like I said, it's a pretty straightforward search this time. Just something to think about as you're building decks. If you find yourself reaching a lot for cards that affect only your opponents all at once, opting for cards that also include you in that effect can sometimes lead to a more positive game experience. It doesn't feel like you're trying to just wipe the table out. You're also saying, hey, we're all in this together. We'll all go down together. Anyway, back to the video.
Welcome back to our fruitful
discussion?
Sure. Syntax, man. Thank you very much for the information you gave us.
Great. Now I have to do one this episode.
Yes.
Oh, sometimes I get lazy.
I know.
No, sometimes I am, because of life, editing on a Thursday for a Saturday morning release. And sometimes I don't have time.
This is an intervention.
Please get out of my calendar.
Braids, Cabal Minion, 2 and black, so 4 cost. Legendary creature, human minion, rare. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land, and is a 2/2. Home is where you can find a decent graveyard and strangers can disappear without awkward questions. First printed 2001 in August. Banned 2009 in June.
Okay.
Banned as Commander. Then, when banned as Commander was removed in September of 2014, she was just moved across.
Stayed banned.
She just stayed banned.
You might not know the answer. Was there anything that went from banned as Commander to not banned?
That other list will have it, but I nothing from the top of my head.
Yeah.
Braids has a tendency to create fully locked down board states and ends games early in a remarkably unsatisfying way.
Okay.
Braids removes resources aggressively, meaning players are unable to keep the resources needed to remove it. First banned as Commander in 2009, when banned as Commander was removed in 2014, Braids was removed to the general ban list.
Yeah.
So banned as Commander made sense.
Cheers.
Banned as Commander made sense, but then the move over to general ban list just kind of she became victim to the banned as Commander going away.
Because I guess that there wasn't something I thought about before. Like, it's a 4 cost. You're able to get her out turn 4. People don't have a lot of resources to begin with, and then every turn you're losing one, so you have to be able to like play a land to get something else out. Every turn.
I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot yet.
Okay.
Anyway.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I want you to go first because I also have arguments for why she should remain banned, which is really sad because I actually really want her unbanned.
Before we get to that, I'm gonna take us on a little story journey because I looked at all 4 Braids cards.
It's Vorthos Zone.
They tell a nice little story.
Yeah, it's rad. Her in the books as well. Super cool.
Yeah.
Read the books. Chill.
There's a dog next door making a lot of noise. So in Commander Masters, we had Braids, Conjurer Adept. 2 and 2 blue, which is where I thought blue came in earlier. Legendary creature, human wizard, a 2/2. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield.
The opposite of Braids.
Yeah. But flavor text here, the rifted multiverse became a sea of conflicting realities, each peopled by possible versions of every living being.
Ooh.
Is this an alternate timeline version of Braids Cabal Minion? Is that what that's hinting at? Unsure. Then obviously Braids Cabal Minion, much more fiendish looking creature, upkeep, sacrifice. It's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, and home is no longer a place, it's where you can find a distant graveyard.
Yeah, and then we have Braids Arisen Nightmare, which is what? Dominaria United?
Yes.
1 black for a legendary nightmare creature, 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, controller's end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker, so expanded reach.
Oh, yep.
If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card.
Which I think is strictly better.
It is better, but it's also one of those things of like, it's optional for you to activate it, and it also depends on what you sacrifice that triggers it to happen for other people.
Right, so it gives you way more control.
Yeah, but it's optional and symmetrical, which I think makes it a little more balanced. It also it's if they don't do it,
they lose 2 life.
Each opponent may sacrifice, so they're not forced to.
Yes, but if they don't, they lose 2 life.
They lose 2 life, but like it's Commander, as we say, you start with 40. It's a lot. You've got life to spend.
5 is a resource.
Yeah. So that's Brazier as a Nightmare, and like the art is some like weird strung up by the goo type shit.
Yep.
And then we've got the Saga from Dominaria United, Braids' Frightful Return. Step 1, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, each opponent discards a card. So a little bit of a remix.
Yep.
I should have said it's 2 generic, 1 black. Step 2 on the Saga, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Which was not part of the other ones, but
no, but it's put something on the graveyard.
It's moving up because it's you sacrifice a creature first, then you can bring it back to your hand. Then step 3, target opponent may sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. If they don't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card.
There is a nightmare.
Kind of like remixing all the things together, but the art kind of the art's sick.
Very cool. It's a very cool
some
card.
bloody handprints all over it, but yeah, I thought that was just a bit of fun. Looking at those together.
Bit of fun.
Now let's get on to some things I found.
Yes.
That are kind of gross. So I mentioned before, like the possibility of a board wipe, and you're like, oh, the mana, whatever. What if you were to play Niven Real's Disc?
No, Larry Nevin.
And have that ready to go at the beginning of your upkeep.
Yeah.
Or the beginning of someone else's upkeep. And then you just destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments right before they go to do their sacrifice.
Yeah, but they still have lands.
Because as far as beginning of upkeep triggers go, everyone's triggers are put on the stack simultaneously, but opponents resolve first. So if you put this on the stack, wipe everyone's shit, and then all they've got left to sacrifice is lands. Assuming,
but would this not get rid of?
Yeah, like assuming you've got a way.
Braids as well?
Assuming you got a way to keep Braids around, but like there's things you can do to just like force it to be land
Yeah, but you have
destruction.
to do extra to do that.
Yeah.
Look who's bending over backwards for fucking combos now, internet.
That was my soft pitch. Now I'll give you my hard pitch.
Righto.
Here's a beaker, splitter of seconds. 1 blue, black, red for a legendary ogre warlock, 2/5, with menace.
Recently reprinted.
No, this was the OTJ print. There was a different Obika, like mechanically different before that, which was tap the player whose turn is may end the turn.
I thought this. Okay.
No, this is whenever Obika Splitter of Seconds deals combat damage to a player, you get that many additional upkeep steps after this phase. Just blow all your own shit up. Like I said, hard pitch. It's hard. I would not do this. It's so bad.
There's more reason to unban. What the fuck are you on?
No, now I've got the actual stuff.
Okay.
I just
That's amazing. I'm here for it.
I'm trying to bait that reaction. Seraph, Realm Eater, 1 black green from Kaldheim. I had one of these. It was like a list card at one point. 1 black green for a 3/3 legendary creature wolf. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Seraph, Realm Eater. So that's just going to 3 times before it comes back to you.
Yep.
At the beginning of your upkeep, if Seraph has 1 or more +1 counters on it, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. So
It's a built-in board wipe.
yeah, like per turn cycle,
Yeah.
you are able to do three mana or less board wipe.
Now, and hear me out. There are cards that function similarly, where by the next round you're already stacked and you can have them out early game.
Yeah.
And so like, this isn't. Yes, Braids does fuel into this as a combo
Oh,
piece.
yeah.
But it's not a reason Braids should remain banned.
No, it's also like it's no, it's the same color identity, but no, like we're getting there. Malik, Grim Manipulator, which is the universes within print of. If I can bring this up, hello.
Nope.
That's great. Cool. It's a universes within print of a Secret Lair card.
Yeah, doesn't matter. No one likes Secret Lair anyway.
It's going to be either Walking Dead or Stranger Things.
Probably.
It's one of the two.
Yeah.
But Malik, Grim Manipulator, 2 red, white, black for a 4/3 legendary human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, you and target opponent each secretly choose a creature that player controls. Then those choices are revealed, and that player sacrifices those creatures. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, you create a treasure. It's just, you get some fuel. You get some gas off that.
It's The Walking Dead.
Now we get on to the real banger.
It's Negan the Cold-Blooded from Walking Dead, the guy with the baseball bat.
Cool. Yeah. Yep, I didn't watch it.
He kills Glenn.
Oh no! Spoilers. Now, you might have heard of Tergrid, God of Fright before. Tergrid! 3 black, legendary creature, God, 4/5, with Menace. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control.
Up against a Tergrid. Tergrid needs to be banned.
It's brutal.
It's brutal.
But with Braids, it's like you are getting everybody's shit the entire time.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off there for a second. I know you got one more, but I'm gonna cut you off there for a second because, for example, I'm gonna introduce you to Anawan, the Ruin Sage, which is a legendary creature. 3 generic black, so 5+ vampire shaman. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player sacrifices a non-vampire creature.
Okay.
It's a 4/3.
Yeah.
And I'm going to introduce you to an even funner card, Kuon, Ogre Ascendant.
All right.
Which is a 3 black pips, legendary creature Ogre Monk, so it can be your commander.
All right.
At the end of your turn, if 3 or more creatures were put into graveyards from play this turn, flip Kuon. It's one of those flip cards, which I have a bunch of now.
Okay.
And then the other side is at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. So, look, it's not targeting lands and artifacts, but it's still fuel for Tergrid.
Oh, yeah.
It's still and it's cheaper, easier to access on turn 1.
True.
And fuels Tergrid.
Yep.
So
Tergrid bad. My last card is Prince of Thralls.
I don't know this one. Sounds like an old one.
It's a non-legendary creature.
From
It'll cost you. It's from Shards of Alara.
Oh, okay.
And it got a Secret Lair reprint. I don't know what else because I can't apparently load anything.
Got access it.
Fuck. It'll cost you 4 generic, blue, black, red.
Okay, so extra
Grixis. For a demon, Grixis with some extra grit. For a 7/7 demon.
Yep.
8 cost 7/7. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard, put that card into play under your control unless they pay 3 life.
Easy. Life is a resource. You said it yourself.
Fucking worst Tergrid.
You said it yourself. Life is a resource.
It is.
It's like Braids are a nightmare, but you know.
Yeah. So yeah, again, like it's not like things that are like Braids, or it's just like this would like be a nice fun little synergy, and it's disgusting.
I mean, well, let's look at what Braids. So like, let's look at what Braids would be used for now. Realistically, it's what I was going to use her for example. Stacks decks.
Yeah.
It's next to Smothering Tithe. Look, she goes into Esper really well. She goes into Grixis really well. But like, it's Smothering Tithe. It's Ristic Study. It's Smokestack. Which is the originator of stacks.
Just resource denial.
Resource denial, because she is the queen of resource denial in.
I'm looking at her.
2 of her 3.
I'm feeling denied right now.
In 2 of her 3 formats.
Yeah.
It does make sense, the ban, because you do not want the game. Here's the play. Really, it's turned too easy. I still haven't gotten around now that the fastest fast man is banned. Thank God.
No, 2 black and a Soul Rune. Swamp, Sol Ring, turn 1, turn 2, Swamp.
No, well, you don't even need that because you can still have extra, so you can make sure you have more resources down.
True.
Because
you
your
need to
stuff
say.
also gets targeted.
Yeah.
But the very easy thing is to turn 1 and in the Soul Ring, yes, but then to Dark Ritual into it
Sure.
to make sure you still have mana available for other stuff.
Yeah.
Because you'll have another land down, sure. But the key is that it is very easy to do very early, and then everyone else is starved out of the deck. But you do eventually have to sacrifice Braids yourself as well if you don't have the resources. So you have to.
You burn all your lands, all you're left with is Braids.
Well, you play Braids and 99 lands.
Yeah, yuck, dude.
Just saying. That means you have something to sacrifice every turn. Anyway, sorry, you can't counter a land.
You can't. I'm just imagining how that game would play out.
But it'll come out in turn 4.
It'll come out turn 4.
But everyone else has already got everything down. Like you would already have an Emrakul, Aeon's Torn down.
Assuming you don't know what that deck does.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, you've just gone land pass for 3 turns, and then turn 4 takes a wild hard left turn into Swamp Braids.
Yeah. Oh no, I've only got a 2/2 down, and like everyone's getting damaged. Yeah. And people are like, oh.
And they're attacking you. You're like, no blockers because it's turn 4. Yeah. No one's really built up a lethal board state yet. And you are just limping to victory. You're limping to a 3-way concede.
Yeah, exactly, basically. Yeah. Look, she's an amazing stacks piece. There is very easy to get her out. That's why they should, again, and I do stand by this, that they should bring back Banner's Commander. I know Banner's Commander is a layer of complexity, but it does allow for fun deck construction like Braids.
I still don't want to see Braids in there.
Gristlebrand.
I don't want them in there.
Emrakul.
No, Gristlebrand is banned as not Commander.
Oh, yeah, true, sorry.
Please let it be your Commander.
Yeah. Gristlebrand banned as Commander. Yeah. Banner's not Commander only. But this would let Braids come back. I think it would also let stuff like Vorthos come back in as well.
Oh, that's...
Episode 1, baby!
Oh, you're taking me back.
Yeah. No, look, I still think she can be unbanned. I think that if you're playing against someone that's playing Braids,
I'm not playing against that person.
But if you are, you would see it coming, and you know what it does pretty clearly there.
Yeah, and then I concede, and then I walk away, and I find another pod.
Fuck. And as always, it's always a discussion. You'd be like, "Hey, I'm playing Braids."
Because think about if that's your commander, what type of deck are you running? What else is in there? Probably Tergrid.
Yes, for sure.
It
should be banned.
It would be mono black.
Sheldred, because you're always drawing. And everyone else is thinking it's ways to Sir Conrad, the guy when you remove things you lose life. A lot of that person loses life. Yeah. You gain life. So Sanguine Bond, Exquisite Blood, Bloodthirsty Conqueror, Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond.
Stuff that lets you bring stuff back from other people's graveyards.
Yep. Aloro now has 5 infinite life.
Yeah, but if we're talking Braids, it's mono black.
Yeah.
So a little bit of limitation.
All of my life gain, life lost combos are mono black.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they made that painful quandary goes in there for sure, because you discard, starve you from your resources in your hand as well.
Yeah, see, that sounds like a real bad time.
Yeah, I'm going to have that sounds like the most fun.
That whole deck sounds shit.
So fun in standard only.
Yeah. Welcome to it.
Yeah, you can have that.
You run your playset of Braids Cabal Minion.
I was tempted to bring her one day as a rotating, here's all the band cards that I own that we can put on a rotator.
We should do that. That sounds fun.
I'll pull them out of my thing.
Maybe that's a nice little summer DIY project.
There we go. Put it on a board.
Put a little LED light around it.
I don't want to damage Golos though, because I have a feeling one day he'll be unbanned. Imagine if we get on the CFP. That'll be the first thing I'll push.
Go and get one of those grading cases, mount him in one of those. Not get him graded.
Not get it graded. No. Graded themselves.
Oh yeah.
So more draw it to just really shitty 10 out of 10.
No, it's just I'll just write on a little slip of paper bad vibes. Stick it in there.
Good vibes for the ones that we can unban. Okay, so banned.
Yeah, dude. Yuck.
Nah, dude.
Yuck.
I think she can be unbanned, and this is truly in my heart. I do think that early game conversations, you just won't play the deck if it's something that's going to ruin your deck. Yeah. And you would talk about the
but I think we've sort of had this conversation before, relying on a pre-game discussion as your like load-bearing pillar for the sake of the game is not the answer.
Yeah,
because a lot of people just don't do them or don't do them well.
Yes, and also like there are, we've come across people that obfuscate them, so they will have their pre-game conversation about this stuff over there.
Or are actively deceptive about what their deck does.
Oh, this is the stuff over there. Ignore this.
Yeah,
and it is unfun. So
yeah,
it definitely stays banned. Definitely stays banned. I thought I had you at the start.
No.
Let's go back to when I was hopeful and you were confused.
I think it's one of those ones that like when you first read it, it's like, oh, it doesn't sound so bad. But then I had time to like imagine a game experience. And I was like, oh yeah, no, nobody's able to do shit.
You had time to think about like mono black.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yuck.
Mono black is fun.
Yeah, like I like my Saravok deck.
I think I'm gonna make a Braids Arisen Nightmare deck.
Yeah, that could be fun because again, like there's a lot of like optionality built into it. It's not everybody's losing shit every turn. It's like
choose.
Maybe you sacrifice, maybe you lose life. It's up to you.
Exactly. So I've been Gramps.
I've been Chili Bin.
We're over on everything but Twitter because fuck you, Elon Musk.
Not everything but Twitter. Just we're definitely not on Twitter.
Well, we're definitely not on Twitter. We're also not on Instagram because neither of us use that. We're not on Facebook.
Still bit, but no. Anyway.
The things we are on: TikTok, Blue Sky, YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, all at Casual Compliance. Because fuck yes. We can do that now.
Yeah, we should just say the things we are on.
Yes, right.
It's easier that way.
People can it's SEO at this point. People will look for us where they can find us. Google us. Casualcompliance@gmail.com if you have any feedback for us as well. It's always welcome. And in the chat, you can time code your messages in response.
Chat? What is this? Twitch.tv?
Sure. In the comments section, we do read every comment. Thank you so much for watching us as always.
What do you got?
I wanted to knock it over, but
please don't.
Yeah, that's actually like proper magic.
Yeah.
These are like sealed.
Those are sealed boxes,
These are
dude.
sealed products. Catch!
You would have not only thrown a box of magic, you would have knocked my camera clean off.
Not my problem. Bye!
I would make it your problem. Also, one anime-inspired card in every pack.
I had to make sure that my thing was on.
You fucker. You absolute piece of shit.